This is crazy. You don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear this. It says they're in active service, but they're not active. I can't stop laughing reading this. It said our leaders are in active service, but they are not active. It says a lot. It says a lot. Well, let's look at this together. Come on, let's look at this together. Right. It said, what is wrong with the entire ecosystem of those born before 1960? What is wrong with the entire system, the ecosystem of those born before 1960? This person is talking about Nigerian leaders born before 1960. The likes of the Senate President, the likes of Baba Tinubu, the likes of senators and governors and those born before 1960. I've been asked a question. What is wrong with the ecosystem of those born before 1960? He said they are in active service, but they are not active. Okay, I'm just going to read them. He said, what is wrong with the entire ecosystem of leaders born before 1960, the older generation? It says they have refused to leave the political stage or bow out gracefully. They've refused to leave the political stage or bow out gracefully. You understand? I'm just trying to read them. It says they've refused to leave the political stage or bow out gracefully. Right? They are still in active service, but not active. Because they are stealing away our future. We're talking about the crop of leaders born before 1960. The entire ecosystem of the leaders born before 1960. Right. It said they are still in active service, but they're no longer active. Because they're stealing away our future. That is food for thought. Come 2027, look at the crops of leaders you're going to be voting into office. They're still in active service, but they're not active. They have nothing new to offer. They've passed their expiration date. They just keep recycling themselves. Just keep recycling themselves. But they've passed their expiration, their sell-by date. They're no longer useful. They have nothing new to offer. This is what I'm sure this person is talking about. That they're no longer useful, they have nothing to offer. We're talking about the entire ecosystem of those leaders born before 1960, before Nigeria's independence. They're still in active service, but no longer active. See, they are stealing away the future of the younger generations. I'm just going to read on. It says, they continue to weaponize our diversity. That's honestly 100% agree with this person. They are continuing to weaponize our diversity. They're very good at doing this because they know the history of Nigeria very well, like the back of their hand. They know the history of Nigeria. They know how to play the politics of division. They are very divisive. This is something that is 100% I agree with this person. Totally 100% agree with this person. It says here, they continue to weaponize our diversity rather than build our system, our country, Nigeria. They welcome and celebrate patronage. Paddy politics. That's what's happening in Nigeria. They welcome and celebrate patronage. The paddy politics. That's what's happening in Nigeria. Nothing new is being offered because they have nothing new to offer. Because they've gone past their expiration date. They've gone past their sell-by date. They become stale. Nothing new to offer. Again, it carries on. It says, they welcome and celebrate patronage rather than reward skills. Rather than reward skills, competence, and accountability. That says it all. That's our country. That's the picture. That is Nigeria. Full stop. What we do is reward corruption. What we do is reward the corrupt. There's no vision for the future. Ask any leader out there What's the plan for the next 5 years? What's the plan for the next 10 years? What legacies are you leaving behind for the future generation? Zero legacy, zero vision, zero plan. The plan is, I'm going to steal as much as I can steal. I'm going to loot as much as I can loot and keep for my children, my children's children, and future generations. That is the vision of every politician. That is the vision of every leader we got out there. It's a shame that this person is actually highlighted this very well, very clearly. I'm just going to carry on. He's talked about, he says here, I don't see any reason why the older generation, in quote, the older generation, those born before independence, the leaders born before independence, the older generation, I don't see any reason why the older generations are leaders, those born before 1960, pre-independence born Nigerians. That's what he's saying here, in quote. It says here, the pre-independence born Nigerians. That's those leaders born before 1960. It says here, I don't see any reason why those born before 1960 era always put ethnicity before integrity. This person is bang on correct. They always put ethnicity, tribalism before integrity, before competence. And he went on here to say, it says here, for them, all arguments are often strengthened along the lines of ethnicity or tribalism. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, or if this person is wrong. Please feel free to leave a comment below, or feel free to DM me. It says here, for this older generation, because that's how they've been brought up. For this older generation, all arguments always is aligned or lined up in the line of tribalism, and it's strengthened by tribalism, strengthened by historical facts based on tribalism. This is what happened in 1967. This is what Ojukwu did. This is what happened in 1966. This is what Adekunle did. This is what happened in 1914. This is what Tafawa Balewa did. This is their line of arguments. Some very still arguments, some very still facts used to buttress their arguments. It's always lined up on the grounds of tribalism. So tribalistic that we can't even move forward. So tribalistic that we can't even think straight. We are so tribalistic that we can't even think of doing the right thing for the future of our country. Everything we do in the country is based on the grounds of tribalism. Now listen to this. It says here, for them, all arguments are often straightened along the lines of tribalism or ethnicity. A generation that we're talking about that generation, that ecosystem. A generation that shields the corrupt from the consequences of their action. Party government, party people. A generation that shields the corrupt from the consequences of their action. And he went on to say, and punishes what? Integrity. How do you reward corruption and punish people with integrity? Who does that? That is the history of Nigeria. That is the fact about Nigeria. A country built on tribalism. A country built on who no man. A country that has no credibility or integrity. A country that has no single plan for the generations that are working hard to rebuild the country. What we see out there, like you've seen in the last 2 weeks, Quam 1, Quam 2, Quam 100, Quam Pro Max, and whatever they call it. That's Nigeria. That is Nigeria. And come 2027, that's probably what we're going to be getting all over again. That's we're going to probably be starting all over again. That is Nigeria. And it's sad.